Hello and welcome, my Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your timeless soulmate read, though being recorded in November 2020. I'm your reader, Angelo, lYONS, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Join the Circle Productions, the Archangel of Lions, Archangelo lYONS, but you can call me Mal. And I also have 4 planets in Virgo, one of which being my sun sign. So I've been looking forward to this read. There's quite a lot of activity going on in my romantic soulmate life, you could say. So even though I read my own before I started these, because I always run the spread on myself first before, you know, I kind of write down what goes where. Virgo, that I am, right? This one feels like I might be in it. So the Leo one, there were touches, because I'm Leo rising, but let's see. My subscribers, welcome back. Thank you so much, particularly my Virgos. Oh my God, can we all work together? Are we all helping each other out through this time, servants of the zodiac that we are? Thank you so much for your subscriptions, right? Your likes, your comments, hitting that notification bell is apparently really important to it all, so I really appreciate it. And a lot of you are even sharing my stuff, which is touching, from one Virgo to another mutable earth that we are, moving shit around as we do. And if you are new to my channel, if this reading resonates with you, please just hit the like button, right? Thumbs up, really, really quick. And if you like how I read and how I work, please consider subscribing to the channel. Like, for example, there is an extended version of this that will be over on VIMEO.com. It's a pay-per-view deal, $5 a pop, right? But if I can get to 30,000 subscribers, I will still keep that up on Vimeo. But I will be able to do a membership thing at 30,000. I get the little join button, and you would pay, I guess, like Patreon or other services like that. You pay one price per month, and you would have access to all of the extended readings for the month. And I usually do 2 series per month, so it would be worth it. So if you're feeling it, do it. Otherwise, let's move on, because I have to say that stuff. It's just part of promoting yourself on YouTube, whatever. When in Rome. When in Greece, be careful. Remember, this is a general read, right? So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And we're looking at a soulmate contract, a happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract, right? The ones we've been working on for lifetimes, after lifetime, after lifetime, incarnating with the same souls in all these different scenarios, trying to alchemize fear to love and be together in a happy, healthy, wealthy way. Because, you know, you might have that with your family, you might have that with your friends, but the romantic sexual one is a challenge, right? Because you have lots of soulmates. Families, friends. You don't just have one. There's some links in the description box that really will help clarify the difference between a twin flame and a soulmate. But let me say now, get it out of the way, that the foundation for any soulmate contract, regardless of whether it's romantic, work-oriented, friends, family, project partners, right? You know, collaborators, you're there to help each other heal. That's the quantum entanglement. And even as one of you heals, the other one heals. That's the soulmate contract at work, right? So whether you know each other or not, you're going to find out what it is that you have on the table to heal, what they have on the table to heal. And as you heal yourself, you're helping each other. It's just that simple. Twin flames are so different, and I don't even want to talk about them because I want to do this reading. But go check the links, right? Otherwise, I guess that's about it. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Check your other signs. There is, like I said, an extended for this one. So you're going to get 12 cards in this reading, but there will be a 13th one on the table, which will be the first one that we turn over in the extended, but there will be a preview at the end, so you will get to see that card as well. So 12 proper, 13th if you hang out till the end. Let's do this, shall we? I think I've had enough of explaining. I want to read. Breathe. And yes, indeed, all the decks that I read are in the description box below. Tuning to my Pantheons of the Divine. Here we go, using the Caroline Myss Archetype deck, please. My collective Pantheons of angels, goddesses, gods, masters and the higher selves of all involved. Please, I need 3 cards since we're doing a contract read. Divine Feminine will be on this side. Divine Masculine will be on this side. Center lane will be the energy of the contract itself, the bond between them, things that are affecting both of them simultaneously. So nothing about biological gender. Just always have to make that very, very clear. So please, my collective pantheons, for this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying, soulmate contract, November 2020 or timeless. I'm so excited. Please, I need 1 for the Divine Feminine partner party in the contract, 1 for the Divine Masculine. Okay, that one kind of popped right into my hand. And please, 1 for the overall Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying contract, November 2024. Timeless. All right, that one we will see in the preview and in Vimeo. So let's see who our soulmate partners are here, and oh my dear, my dear, my dear, are we dealing with a tumultuous one? Before I flip these over, remember they're supposed to be triggering, and it's going to take me a while to explain these in context because these are pretty high voltage archetypes. All archetypes are about soul powers you are developing through the situations, stories, and lessons that you're going through on your soul's journey from lifetime to lifetime, and in just one lifetime. In terms of relationships, good God, this is really tricky, but it's incredibly powerful. You've got the Divine Feminine here, the Addict archetype. Now, I will tell you, as toxic as the shadow is as brilliant as the light is. And keep in mind, people have addictions, right? Everybody has an addiction. It's not always about drugs and alcohol, people. Codependence is a form of addiction, right? There's so many variations on a theme there, right? But the Divine Masculine has the God archetype, and that's what? An addict and a God contract? Wow. Wowie, wow, 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 right? So I'm going to read these to you individually. Now, I could see somebody wanting to be like, nope, click off, don't want to know, right? But this is the stuff you're helping each other heal. Whether you know each other or not, whether you are in separation or not, in communication with each other or not. So, the Divine Feminine, remember, this isn't about bodily gender. So you got to really breathe through this to feel like, is this me? Because remember, we all have addictions. And archetypes can show up a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? A reason. They come in to teach you something, to develop where you might have unhealthy attachments, for example, right? Sometimes we go through it for a season. And you can be addicted to TV. You can be addicted to Netflix. You can be addicted to anything, right? Even a thought pattern. You can be addicted to attention, right? But then there are those who have it lifetime, and those are the ones that we really hear the stories of, and you know when they triumph. It's truly hero's journey stuff. So the shadow attribute, and really listen to this in the detail, right? So feel it, because we all do this. Compromises integrity and honesty. Right? Like, addicts lie. It's just how it goes. Allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. And what I mean by it may not be something so physical, tangible as workaholism. It might be codependency on tribal approval, right? It's like that feeling, and Virgos can fall prey to that, right? Either one of these could be Virgos, they might both be. But definitely that thing of like, well, but you know, addiction to other people's approval. Right? Absolutely, that could be a factor. But now catch the light side of this. This is so genius, the way Carolyn Mace wrote this. Helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior. But how do you get to do that unless you've already dealt with it, right? So whether it's within yourself, whether it's in another person, whether it's in family patterns. Now, this is why I feel like that third card is going to make a real difference here. I have no idea what it is. I haven't looked at it. But why I say that is because we are dealing with the God archetype, which is definitely part of the divine masculine, the masculine family of archetypes, not a member of the divine family. You'd think it would be. No, the goddess is a member of the feminine family. The god is a member of the masculine family. It's just this card comes up so rarely. The shadow attribute, despotism and cruelty. I don't know, like Dionysus was a lot of fun, but really when he didn't get his way, I mean, he'd make your mother eat you. The Bacchae, using power to control people. I mean, you think of shadow gods, right? You know, dark side, you know, apocalypse. Totally getting some granny goodness vibes off this, although she should be in the goddess category, right? One would think. So despotism and cruelty. Now that in a human person, somebody with that, they've got a lot of power, but very yang, very external. But now catch the light, right? As terrible, as dark side as the shadow attribute is, which sounds like a normal sentence. Take out the DC Comics reference. The light is just so brilliant. Benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. Benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others, that divine aspect of who we are. So, I mean, let go and let God. You let go and let this God in, right? Well, this is, they're going to help each other heal. And this feels so fucking written well, I won't say in stone. It's written in quantum timelines with probably zillions of variation per second. But nonetheless, what a way to kick off a reading. Holy crap. Divine, holy crap. We're going to take 5 Daughters of the Moon Tarot to clarify for the Divine Feminine who she is, what she wants, right, on the 5 element, the element spread. We're going to do the same with the Mythic Tarot for the Divine Masculine. Those will be your 12 cards. And like I said, that 13th one, which I have a feeling should have a real piece of the puzzle in all of this in terms of clarity. You'll be able to see that in the preview. By then you'll know whether or not the extended reading is for you. And for $5, it's worth it. Breathe. Ah, yes, indeed. My goddesses, please, my goddesses of Earth, my goddesses of Virgo, please, I need 5 cards, the element spread for this Divine Feminine Addict with the Addict archetype. We're not going to call her an addict. We're going to say she's the Divine Feminine with dealing with the Addict archetype, right? In some way, shape, or form. So please, there you are, my goddesses. Element of fire. What is it that she mostly desires in and from this contract? Element of earth. What is the fuel that she has to feed the fire in terms of what she wants in this soulmate contract? Element of air. What is she predominantly thinking about this soulmate contract? And element of water. What is she predominantly feeling for this soulmate contract? And most importantly, the element of spirit. What is the point of view, the message, or the voice of her soul, who was chosen to incarnate assigned the dotted line, I guess, on some level, right? In this happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, satisfying sexual, romantic, soulmate contract, November 2020, or timeless. I got it. It stuck to my fingers. I knew that was the one. Now, before we read that, let's do the same for him, so this way we can turn over their cards simultaneously, element by element. Breathe. Now, what's really weird about this on a personal level, I hate to make it personal, but the god that sits in the throne of Dionysus, of Virgo for me is Dionysus. Those words have become synonymous in my subconscious mind. So he's the god archetype. So it's like I'm more relating to the Divine Masculine than the Divine Feminine this time around. Usually I'm there, and it's not just because of the addict. I know I have my addictions, honey, but Dionysus has helped me heal a lot of that, because once you can tap into a divine ecstasy, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but it kind of blows the other addictions away. Right? You just go straight to the source. Breathe. Oh, this is going to be a hot one. Please, my gods. My gods, Dionysus in particular. The Divine Masculine, the Divine Yang aspect of the universe, if you want to go there. Please, I need 5 cards, element spread for this Divine Masculine God archetype, if that's not redundant, please, in this Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign, happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract, November 2020, or timeless. Please, what is his element of fire? What does he desire? What does he really want in this soulmate contract element of earth. What does he have? The fuel to feed the fire to help him get what he wants. Element of earth in this soulmate contract. Element of air, predominant thoughts, predominant point of view mentally in his element of air about this soulmate, top one, soulmate contract. Element of water, what is his predominant feelings? The emotional aspect here in this soulmate contract, and most importantly, in my opinion at least, his element of spirit. What's going on in the voice, the point of view of the soul, considering we are dealing with such a powerful divine masculine archetype here, the voice and point of view of the soul that was chosen to incarnate to play this role. Oh, let's just get to it. What do they want? Ooh, well, she has got the trickster in what she wants. So there's a little sneaky going on here. Now, this is half of the devil card in the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, because they don't use patriarchal references, right, necessarily. I mean, let's face it, the whole Jesus versus Satan thing, or Archangel Michael thing, that's patriarchal. From a matriarchal point of view, this is the coyote woman, right? The trickster in the pantheon that tricks you into learning, that tricks you into growing. Now, it could also be that this divine feminine, we'll get there in a minute, wants to play a little trick, something a little stealthy. Now, a little bit different than the fox. The fox is really, for me, the totem of stealth and being sly, right? Sly as a fox. Sly, vixen you, Virgo. But if this is you, then there's sort of a strategy in play here. There's something about having to pretend to be like sneaking across a border. I don't mean that in an international racial sort of way, but I mean, like, you know, like when you got to do something on the down low. But this is a major arcana card. This is not like an incident. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, well, like hiding things in plain sight, or it's a stupid reference, but I'm going to go for it. A superhero who has a secret identity, right? Like that kind of thing. Like there's a trick that wants to go on here. Perhaps it does have to do with concealment, which, let's face it, Addict to Archetypes. You gotta conceal your shit, right? Shadow is what you don't want to look at yourself or you want to push behind you. So really, if you are resonating with this as the divine feminine, look at compromising integrity and honesty and allowing an addictive pattern to have authority over your own spirit. That's why that spirit card is going to be very important. The divine masculine wants the Page of Wands, wants some action, wants some passion, wants to experience, wants to communicate, but on a design, like sexting. They just said, yeah, like sexting, scruff, manhunt. Just saying, I mean, feels like a god of fertility. That's a nice way to say it. So there's something tricky going on here for sure in terms of what they want, but there's no question that there is a sexual attraction here. Like, I get that off that card really strong. Element of earth. What's the fuel that feeds that fire? What do they have? Interesting. They both have air. So they are both thinking. Thankfully, the divine feminine has the Six of Blades, right? Sort of moving mentally from rough waters to calm, balance the six. This could be through meditation, through prayer, although the Seven of Blades in this deck is actually called meditation. This could be about counseling. This could be about confession. This could be about using the mental power, the element of air, in some way visceral, in some way in the practical world, to bring herself into balance. Now, maybe that is confessing something about what they really want. It's like, if I could just get away with this, if only this could happen. It feels like there's a strategy in play. But with an addict archetype, that's a given, right? What are their strategies to get their next fix, so to speak? Or if it is true that this is the light attribute that the divine feminine is dealing with, helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior, this could be the staging of an intervention, because usually you don't let people know ahead of time. It's, by the way, we're planning your intervention next month. Would you mind coming? Right? No. It's usually shock and awe, so to speak. He's got the Four of Swords. I have seen this card pop up quite a bit lately. really what he has is introspection. This, I will say, is meditation, or at least the mental rest necessary to integrate some of this power of what's going on here. Now, we haven't seen what's going on in their psychological world yet in terms of their mind and their heart, right? Their thoughts and their emotions, their air and their water. But with this resonance of air, they're definitely on each other's mind. I do feel like if these two don't know each other, then they are really dealing with past baggage that's preparing them. And I think that's true in a lot of readings, right? Just because they may not know each other, may not have met yet, right? Doesn't mean that they aren't healing and helping their soulmate heal, right? But what I'm feeling here is that there has been a dance here, hence this mental rest here and this balance here. It's interesting. But they're definitely on each other's minds. So that's what leads me to think the majority of people watching this video will know who these people are by now. And if not, let's keep going. Since such a focus on the element of air, right? The Four of Swords for him, the Six of Blades for her. What's going on in their element of air? Well, the Gemini card. So there is thought about self-expression and communication. Yes, maybe about a Gemini. Maybe this other person is a Gemini. Maybe there's Gemini in their charts, individually or collectively. But nonetheless, they are thinking about communication. I mean, it's mutable air. And that could also say that their minds are changing, which would make sense with this Six of Blades. Because mutable air, Gemini, right? Also gathering information. I wouldn't necessarily call it, well, maybe it is spying, but that sort of thing of how a butterfly goes from flower to flower to flower to flower to flower, right? Kind of collecting as it goes, because this is the goddess Hina, the maiden of blades, the Gemini card. Interesting. That's going to play itself out in a lot of different ways, but they're thinking about it. We don't know that anything's going to happen yet because there's this sneaky going on. For him, Nine of Swords. A lot. We got two overthinkers here. Well, Virgos. They could both be Virgos very easily. Really an overthinker here. And this is the sleepless nights. That 10th sword would bring resolution and understanding, like a missing piece of the puzzle. I don't understand. How did this happen? I don't, it just feels like this mental confusion, different than the bound and blindfolded of the 8, which is, no, this is, oh my God, it just doesn't, it's a lot. It's a lot of mental stress on this point, hence the Four of Blades. So there's a lot of, I feel like if there's no communication between these two, that would lead to that. Although to see really how this divine masculine can deal with this with benevolence and compassion for themselves, right? That's going to be a tricky thing because the mind is not who we are. Matt Kahn, bless his soul, his card will be the last card down in the extended reading, the Healing Mantra deck. I forget which book he said it is. Probably Everything is Here to Help You, or Whatever Arises, Love That, or The Universe Always Has a Plan. Those were his 3 books. It's in one of them. He said that when your mind is racing, it's like an alarm, like a security alarm saying, you're not in your heart, breathe. Get into your benevolence and compassion here, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. And that's the thing. There is a divine connection here, not because any card came down, because it's a soul contract. Okay, let's see what's going on emotionally. This should be a roller coaster ride. Aha. Well, for the Divine Feminine, she has got the 8 of Cups. Now, feeling like she has walked away from something, right, because it's the emotional part of it, but also going into a cave. So it's not so much walking away from as it's walking deeper into. Divine Feminine, what's the pain you're medicating? Go find out. No, you think you know up here, but to actually, there's there's a way through this. There's a way through this that is probably, I don't want to say easier, but I will say simpler than you think. There are emotions here that need to be dealt with within yourself. And what those are, in a general read, I'm not going there. We'll see in the extended, though, because we're going to do simple timelines. I switched the decks. So the Daughters of the Moon will be past, present, future for the masculine, the Mythic Tarot, past, present, future for the feminine. So what he's got, what he's feeling is the Lovers. A major decision. You see, now, right now, I would say in a general reading, this God would be deciding between the light and the shadow here. Really life-changing stuff, emotionally speaking, right? Because will the divine masculine God archetype here choose benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself or another, or be despotish? Be a cruel despot. That's easier to say right now. Tongue fucking twister, sort of. I mean, the Lover's card here, and I feel like this divine feminine might very well be experiencing, like, I don't want to come all out and say straight up depression, because depression is such a clinical mental health issue. But this feels like a retreat into the emotions. And if it is to heal, remember, we've got the Six of Blades. If there is some form of counseling going on here, even if it's self-help stuff, which I'm not saying that's less than counseling or more than counseling, but, you know, working on yourself, this feels very belief-oriented, in other words. Like, the thoughts are what's going there. So there feels like a withdrawal, and that is the name written on the card, an emotional withdrawal. I don't feel like a withdrawal from her emotions, but into her emotions, and maybe pulling back, almost like a Hermit card, and we'll see if the Hermit card shows up. But with the Lovers here, I mean, there is real life change. There's no question. He loves her. He just loves her. He just does. And if there really is an addiction, if they know each other and he's aware of this addiction, that he still loves her, he's willing to help her heal. You with me? You feeling that? All right. Most important card, at least for this spread. Well. The voice of the soul, the card of spirit for the divine feminine, is the Taurus card, fellow earth sign that it is. Now, that may indicate that there's some Taurus energy here, or at least there is something of high value here. Second house, Taurus energy, fixed earth, lifelong values. People will say money and prosperity, but yeah, but your health is a lifelong value, isn't it? And not just your physical health, just because it's an earth card, your mental health, your emotional health. That the soul is saying to the personality here, struggling with this addict archetype in herself, someone else, a situation, get down to your core values. What is the most important things? What do you value above everything else? And if that answer is love, or if that answer is other people's opinions of me, you see what I mean? What are your bedrock values here? That's going to help, and that's worth pulling back from everybody, because no one else can tell you what's of true value to you, not even the hardware store. That's them, it's not me. I know I let it come out of my mouth, though. He's got the Judgment card, Hermes, the psychopomp, going back and forth between the upper world and the underworld and the middle world there. I mean, I can just feel on that. Hermes and I are very close. Someday I'll go on what he told me about Mercury retrograde another time, because it's a Virgo thing, right? Virgo and Gemini, and it's funny, the Gemini card's there too. But saying that, there is going to be a final judgment here. The soul is really saying to this divine masculine, it's like, there is not only going to be, because remember, this is soulmate contract. Okay, I heard you. Sorry, they just did a redirect. It made me spit my words there. That he's sensing emotionally this decision, this big decision coming, and there's information revealed. And the strong, I would say, I don't want to give it a percentage, let's just say the larger percentage here. The soul is saying, prepare yourself. There's a reconciliation coming here. This will either be laid to rest, where they complete what they have to do and begin again, or they really do go their separate ways, but it will be done from a divine place. I mean, the major arcana card of the Lovers with Judgment there, that's pretty dominant there. And the major arcana card of the trickster here. Like, I feel like this divine feminine addict archetype wants to, like, do this in a very stealth way. I just have to wonder what that's about. Well, and that's why we have the extended reading. Because really now, with all of these cards on the table, those are your 12, right? 5, 5, 1, 5, 10, 11, 12. So let me pop up the picture and see what else they can show me, right? Then we'll give you a little blessing at the end, and then comes the preview. Take a nice deep breath. Magic clap. We've got the divine feminine dealing with the addict archetype, right? Within herself, within another, maybe within this situation. Maybe there is some very, very strong compulsion stuff going on for this divine feminine involving this divine masculine God archetype, which, you know, even looking at the cards, the addict is kind of facing the direction of the God. I don't usually do the directionality of cards here, but that stands out to me a little bit here because the God is just staring straight forward. So the shadow attribute compromises integrity and honesty, allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. And what's going on in your inner spirit? Your spirit card are your values, your lifelong values, not just what your parents taught you or what society told you, but really what's the values of your soul? What is the most important thing to you? And that's why with this coyote woman, it does change that with that Taurus card up there. In the spirit position, because then it's saying that this might very well be like if this divine feminine is really working her stuff. I almost want to say working her program, right? That would be very Six of Blades if you're doing a 12-step thing, regardless of the type of deal it is, but doesn't want anybody to know. I mean, oh my God, the Six of Blades in Earth with the coyote woman in fire. This is Alcoholics Anonymous, right? It just looks that way. I'm not saying that that's what the divine feminine is definitely going through, but wants to keep it covert. I just got that, right? And of course, then it would make sense in her mind is about communication, whether communicating or expressing oneself either in a group, right? It's some therapeutic venue like that, but doesn't want the divine masculine to know. It sounds like a Virgo to me, though, honestly, right? We can keep our legs and our mouths shut, particularly when it's personal stuff we don't want people to know about, right? In the vault it goes, particularly if you have to keep confidentiality in like the career that I have as a Virgo. You hear a lot of people's shadows. You really got to make vows on that stuff not to share it. And so then, of course, taking a deeper dive, a withdrawal into the emotional caves, right? Going into those darkened places, carrying a torch to really experience and see what has been left unfulfilled, the voices of pain that one would suspect are being medicated by an addiction of some shape or form, either a literal external one, a codependent one, right? More in the personal world in terms of thoughts and feelings and decisions, not so tangible. It's a challenge, but there is emotional stuff here to be embraced. And that process itself, I feel like they are being led into that position of spirit where they will realize or maybe recognize. Like, I love the word recognize if you break it up. Cognize really means to wrap your mind, to grok, to understand. It's a very Virgo thing to not just cognize, but recognize, like to remember. Oh, right. Love is the most important thing. My soul's growth and development, however, and whatever that is for that divine feminine. Jumping over for the divine masculine with the God archetype now in the shadow. Despotism and cruelty, using powers to control people, and that, you know, anybody who has either the God or the Goddess archetype is going to have to deal with that in some way, shape, or form, because none of us are infallible, right? We're all going through our growth process as we assimilate more power. But the light attribute, benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others, would, I think, set up this divine masculine to have that kind of masculine energy in the gold would really, really, really be willing to help and to serve and feel compassion and really, really recognize that what they do to this other, right, this divine feminine, they are doing to themselves. They are doing to humanity. They are doing to the collective, right? In other words, recognizing the eternal force within themselves and the other, right? And with that Page of Wands, they want in. You know, it's just so simple. They want to connect. They want to kiss. They want to peck. They want to meet. Now, if they have not met yet, these are two people who haven't met yet. They want to, I would say they're going towards the apps and the social media stuff. Just because it's that communication of passion, right? Pages are messengers, but what is the message, right? So the message there is definitely one of passion, and that does also, and the Page of Wands is, of course, going in the direction of the Divine Feminine. So it does feel like very much wanting to do that, but not doing that. Four of Swords, going within, perhaps, and this is a stretch, maybe, but not so much for me, communicating internally, right? Maybe doing the telepathic thing through prayer, through meditation, communing with their higher self. I mean, it is a God archetype, right? I don't want to put anything past a possible Virgo with a God archetype, regardless of gender, right? That's incredibly powerful. And we are incredibly powerful Virgos. We're the fucking servants of the zodiac. What, you think we haven't learned from other people's suffering? It's because we've been through our own, right? And with that Nine of Swords, there is mental suffering here. There might be a thing where he can't get this Divine Feminine out of his mental field, right? And there is a feeling of suffering here, that there's a piece of the puzzle incomplete and can't figure it out, can't figure it out, can't figure it out. The 10, you know, regardless of how a 10 would play out, it would bring resolution to this, but it's not there mentally. So maybe that Four of Swords going in to try and not tame that, but temper that a little bit. Because with the Lovers, like, the vibe on this one, again, it's going to depend on who's watching this. If the Divine Masculine is more in his light or his shadow, who's 100% in either all the time, really, nowadays? Well, maybe in the shadow. But this Lovers is here, that the decision is being made on a heart level of whether to engage or disengage here. And with that card of Judgment in the card of Spirit, I mean, so often I hear and I recognize the reconciliatory properties of the Judgment card, particularly with Hermes, the psychopomp, the guide of souls, right? Would take you from the middle world to the underworld. Really revealing something, really revealing some truth, I would think a message that really puts this into clearer perspective. So I'm not seeing that the Divine Masculine needs to act right now, right? That Four of Swords is saying, no, you don't need to act. And really, even the Divine Feminine here with the Six of Blades, it's like what she has to do right now really does feel more psychotherapeutic. And if it's not psychotherapeutic, it could just be like interior healing, right? Balancing the mind, but definitely going from rough waters to calmer seas, I guess I want to say there. But overall, between an addict and a god, I mean, if someone's really dealing with the pain of addiction and they have a soulmate partner, regardless of Divine Masculine or Divine Feminine, who has that kind of god or goddess archetype in play, it's got to be equal how they help each other heal. Even if one is more dominant as the healer and then the other one is, these two have quite the contract together. I have to say, I am impressed by these two people. Do I see myself in them? Yeah, I gotta say, I could maybe see myself in both, although really, I mean, we all have our addictions, as I said. But regardless, may the Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs be blessed with all that they need to grow, to heal, to learn, to become the best that they can be and fulfill their roles in this happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract for November 2020 or timeless, that they may alchemize what needs to be alchemized, make the decisions that are in alignment with their soul's high wisdom and reality of the golden timeline moving forward, and that they may serve humanity through healing themselves and helping each other heal for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. My heart just went, very, very lovely. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, comment. Help me get my work out there and help me get my numbers up. I'm a Virgo. You're Virgo. You get it. We're all together in this deal, and I'm giving you the very best that I can day to day doing this. Like I said, we'll turn over that next card in the preview, so just hang in there for a little bit and you'll see it. Otherwise, wishing you the very best. And the very, very blessed of this happy, healthy, wealthy, wise, intimate, sexual, satisfying soulmate contract to my Virgos. I love you. I truly do. Hail, farewell, and blessed, blessed be. Hey there, my Virgo collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. You know I just stood up, turned off the camera, and just hit that button right over again. I had to take a picture of the spread for YouTube that we are about to build on in a really big way. So thank you for staying for the preview, or seeing the preview, now jumping over to the extended reading, just getting the Healing with the Angels Oracle deck ready, because that'll be the next card down. But we already have one down, remember? I mentioned it in YouTubeville. Holy fuckballs. Okay. So remember, we have this Divine Feminine Addict archetype. Yeah? Dealing with addictions in some way, shape, or form. Them, somebody else. It's harsh. I get it. And this Divine Masculine with the God archetype, which feels very intense. And just to clarify, we've got 1, 2, 3 major arcana cards out of 10. It's okay. Oh, 4, right, the Coyote. So, yeah. Which now makes sense, because the overarching archetype, that's hard to say, for this contract, really, what the two of them are experiencing simultaneously, whether you know each other or not, whether you're together or apart or communicating or not, you're dealing with an alchemist. Oh my God, an alchemist archetype. This is both the divine and the wisdom family. The alchemist really goes back and forth between the two, is in two families simultaneously. A small number of archetypes that do that. The mystic is another one, interestingly enough, I believe. The shadow attribute, misuse of the power and knowledge that comes through spiritual practice. God archetype. Yeah. Right? Misusing the power that comes through spiritual practice, right? That's a lesson we all go through, because the ego co-opts the process every now and again, and it just wants to get what it wants, even if it means it has to chant and pray, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, and usually when it does work, it doesn't go well. The light attribute, though, transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom. This is what a soulmate contract is for in terms of alchemy. These two are helping each other alchemize from lead to gold, from shadow to light, from toxic to healthy, however you want to do that. You know, the emotional scale from one end to the other. If you want to Abraham Hicks the thing, you go right ahead. Through this quantum dealio they got going on in this soulmate contract, the alchemy is just happening, even if they are completely unaware of it. But remember, this is about divine energy and wisdom. Those are the families that one belongs to. Wow. But you got a wild card and a masculine here. So I'm going to say to you, let's keep going. We really have to see what this looks like. But I got to say, that's like what soulmates are. But twin flames are too, but you teach each other how to heal yourselves, which sounds good on paper, but is really rough when someone doesn't give you the love that you want them to. Where in soulmates you do. You give each other the love each of you want, right? That doesn't mean it's always played out that way all the time, though. Breathe.